peace, then let us keep it.
I think you're confusing peace with quiet.
Yeah, what's the vibranium for?
I'm glad you asked that because I wanted to take this time to explain my evil plan.
What's up, YouTube? DMLX here today, here to do my quick review on Avengers Age of Ultron, one of the biggest blockbuster films come out this year. It's probably going to have to be one of the top 10 films of all time, to be honest with you, in box office wise. Just, you know, the anticipation for this film is so high. Finally went to go see it Saturday night, and oh my gosh, it's definitely one of the best Marvel films to date. Probably I put it in the top 3, top 5, somewhere in that range. And it kicks off with amazing action. You know, I think it has one of the best action sequences throughout the Marvel films. I mean, just the way Joss Whedon coordinates the fighting, with having all the different team members team up and whatnot, how they all contribute, especially with Thor and Captain America. They got some cool combinations with the hammer and the shield. It's fantastic, and I think the team chemistry is amazing. You know, especially between the actors, manager, just the conversations they have with each other. It's really cool. It's like fanboys talking about, you know, how they compare other superheroes to another person with, well, who's got the better girlfriend, or who's got the better powers, who can do this, who can do that, type of thing. That's just great, and just the actors' chemistry on screen, off screen, just shows it. I love the character dynamics between each Avengers character. That's really cool. And Ultron definitely brings a lot to the table. He's one of my favorite Marvel villains. Is he better than Loki? I mean, it's kind of hard to compare since Ultron only appears in one film, while Loki appears in 3, and he's probably going to appear in more in the future. So, but overall, I think Ultron is definitely one of the best Avengers villains of all time. And I'm glad he's in this movie. He definitely is a threatening character. Sure, he's a bit comedical at times. I just kind of wish he wasn't sometimes. It's like, well, I kind of wish you were a more dark and brooded person. He definitely is ruthless. I will give him that, even though he doesn't really know it. I would still like him as a villain. Did a great. James Spader did a great job voicing him. He's amazing. He's definitely gonna. I mean, he's memorable. It's Ultron, right? So there you go with that. And then I don't want to spoil too much, but they do introduce new Avengers within this movie. I'm not going to give away who it is, but I'm pretty sure you guys can figure it out through all the trailers and, you know, what people have been saying so far in the casting. So there is going to be a new lineup of Avengers at the end of the movie, and I like the new lineup. It's pretty cool. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds in future films. Then Vision, oh my gosh, that's a big highlight. You know, just I really want to spoil this one thing that makes Vision so awesome, but I'm really not going to. But, you know, Vision definitely is a standout. He definitely looks cool. Fits in well with the team. They definitely, they did a good job of hiding him in the marketing, but they didn't really need to, I don't think. But Vision definitely is a really cool character. I can't wait to see how he grows and develops in future films, and along with Scarlet Witch as well. We'll have to wait and see how that all transitions throughout maybe Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War. Definitely going to be an interesting one. And the setup for future films is also a great highlight, where you have Ulysses Claw, played by Andy Serkis, who's in the film for a bit, setting up Black Panther. Then you have certain things for Thor that's going to set up Ragnarok. Then you have certain things in the movie that are going to set up Civil War. So that's really nice. So I'm glad that everything's coming all together within this film, even though the characters themselves don't really know it yet. And Infinity War, of course, are also setting up Infinity War. And there's the humor is well executed. At first I thought the humor would be oversaturated like it was in Iron Man 3, because Iron Man 3, I believe, had too much humor. I know it's like, how can you can't have too much humor, you know? But I didn't want like a superhero comedy movie, you know? And Avengers Age of Ultron knocks it out of the park with humor, executes it well, and it works, even in dire situations, which I'm happy about. And more Hawkeye development. That's what we all want. Hawkeye hasn't really been in a lot of Marvel movies. Had a cameo in Thor, then he appeared in Avengers, but he was mostly like a zombie throughout the film, and just showed up in the end. But in Age of Ultron, he's more useful. He's definitely, a lot of the story does revolve around him. There's some secrets no one really knew about Hawkeye as it's shown throughout the film, which is great, you know. So it's cool to explore more of who Hawkeye is, which is nice, giving him some highlights throughout the film. And the Hulkbuster sequence, that's definitely a big highlight. It's just amazing. I always wanted to see that on the big screen. Hulk versus Iron Man, there you go. Definitely a good sequence. I loved it. Don't know if we're ever going to get a really big, huge action sequence like that again between the Hulk and Iron Man, but you never know. Anything's possible. Makes you still want a Hulk movie, but I'm guessing that's not going to happen anytime soon. And as for the weaknesses go, I mean, I felt like certain scenes were a bit rushed or left out even, because if you look at the trailers, there are certain parts in the trailers that weren't in the movie. I guess I could spoil those, like the black lady in the, there's just a lot of scenes that were cut in the movie that made it in the trailer but weren't in the full cut. So I feel like I really want to see a director's cut of Age of Ultron, see where all this went and see why it was all cut. I feel like it would be an even better movie if they left in some more scenes, but maybe they didn't want like a 3-hour movie, which I can understand. And Hulk not being a big highlight was kind of a downer for me. Hulk was definitely the star of the first Avengers movie, but he didn't bring much impact to the second one besides the Hulk versus Hulkbuster scene. All the other times it just felt like, okay, Hulk's just angry and blah blah blah, and while Black Widow's there, it's just to calm him down, that type of thing. And that brings me to the Black Widow and Hulk relationship. I mean, it was okay. They made it relatable to why they could possibly be together, seeing that they're saying they're both monsters in their own way, which is interesting. But it wasn't. I mean, could I believe it? Kind of. But it was like, I feel like Black Widow could he's just going around with all these other different Avengers. She was hooking up with Iron Man, then she'll hook up with Captain America, Hawkeye. Who's next? Thor, Oh wait, it's the Hulk. So it's crazy how she's just getting around with all these characters, getting in their heads kind of type of thing. But I definitely see the relatability within Hulk and Black Widow. It just wasn't working for me. And the twins were okay. I enjoyed Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. They just weren't really strong. I will say this, I think Evan Peters' Quicksilver is better than Aaron Taylor Johnson's, but they are two different Quicksilvers, so it's really hard to compare the two. But twins are alright. I'm not saying they were terrible. Do I enjoy their accents? Actually, it stuck with me. I'll give it that. And Thor's Vision Quest, I won't give too many spoilers about that. Besides, it kind of helped set up Infinity War just a bit, but overall, it was a bit pointless. Just a little bit, besides explaining more about the Infinity Gems. So there you have it, guys. Those my overall impressions of Avengers: Age of Ultron. Do I think it's better than the first one? I mean, I'm just gonna say I think it's on equal par. There are moments where it's like, yeah, it's better than the Avengers, and other moments where it's not. So I'm just gonna say like that. You definitely gotta go see this movie. It's definitely, I love it. It's one of the best Marvel films to date. I hope Avengers: Infinity War blows my socks off. I don't know why I said socks, or Civil War in general. Because Age of Ultron is definitely one of the best films of 2015 so far. Kicks it off a great summer. I'm really looking forward to it. So if you haven't seen Avengers: Age of Ultron, go check it out. It's gonna be worth your time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like to subscribe more content to me on Avengers and other films in general. I'm DMLX. I'll see you in the future.